Bible of Cthulhu by Wintry, First Edition. The old ones were gone, but their dead bodies had told their secrets and dreams to the first men, who formed a cult which had never died. This was that cult. It had always existed and always would exist, hidden in distant wastes and dark places all over the world, until the time when the great priest Cthulhu from his dark house in the mighty city of Riley, under the waters, should rise and bring the earth again beneath his sway. Some day he would call when the stars were ready, and the secret cult would always be waiting to liberate him, a very real, very secret, and very ancient religion. Azathoth's Dream, the Veridian Verses. 1. Such age has fallen upon the world. Wonder has gone out of the minds of men and women. Great cities rear to smoky skies, tall towers grim, in whose shadow none might dream of the sun or of spring's flowering meads. To seasons of political and social upheaval are added a strange and brooding apprehension of hideous woe, a woe widespread and embracing, such a dread as may be imagined only in the most terrible phantasms of the night. Brother and sister are split in twain and stray asunder, and detachment of fundamental proportion separates the world at every level. People go about with pale and worried faces, and whispered warnings and prophecies which no one dare consciously repeat or acknowledge to himself that he has heard. A sense of monstrous guilt is upon the land, and out of the abysses between the stars sweep chill currents that make men shiver in dark and lonely places. There is a demonic alteration in the sequence of the seasons, and it is felt that the world and perhaps the universe has passed from the control of known gods or forces to that of gods of forces unknown. Strange apparitions and Veridian lights are cast over those that have heard the call of Cthulhu, and seen this in all its grand monstrosity. And so by strange prophecies fulfilled, a heavy vibration had awoken the old ones in their cult. It is the beginning of the end. 2. Under the gaze of apathetic stars, the old ones lived ages before the reign of man, and came to the young world out of the sky, lurking in the deepness of the abyss, powerful entities cloaked behind reality. The old ones represent a cosmic truth, secured away from the common mind, whereby seeing or knowing renders madness and insanity to those who behold it. They existed vast epochs of time ago, and archetype mankind before his so-called sophistication through religious and sightless faith, and are the lone remnants of cosmic veracity, sleeping in the dark whilst uncounted millions of years did pass. Although they no longer live, they will never truly die, for that is not dead which can eternal lie, and with strange eons even death may die. They lie in Riley, and in suspended animation in the yawning vistas of the beyond, preserved for divine resurrection when the stars and earth might once more be ready for them. Meanwhile, the cult, by appropriate rites, keeps alive the memory of those ancient ways, and shadows forth the prophecy of their glorious return. For their shadow will sweep the land and usher forth a new age of enlightenment, free from speculation and disorder. It is only those called and woken by Cthulhu that can see clearly through the fog and know the old ones and their truth. 3. Mankind will have become as the great old ones, free and wild and beyond good and evil. This is the time that is easy to know. The people of the world will transcend the archaic convictions of their fathers, and delirious liberation will reign, like tidal oceans over parched earth. The greatest deception of man blankets the minds of the asthenic, and it is Cthulhu and his cult that will awaken those shrouded in its forced slumber. The liberated old ones will teach the world new ways to revel and enjoy itself, and all the earth will aflame with a holocaust of ecstasy and freedom. The structures of man, both corporeal and ethereal, will decay, dilapidate, ruin and crumble, and all who remain will be those cultists awoken. They will gather at the great gates of Riley and be ushered into a new kingdom under the old ones. Hark! The gates of Riley be closed to those who slumber. Lo! The key is hidden from those who do not dream. Yog-Sothoth knows the gate. Yog-Sothoth is the gate. Yog-Sothoth is the key and guardian of the gate, past, present, future, and all are one in Yog-Sothoth. He knows where the old ones broke through of old, and where they shall break through again. He knows where they have trod earth's fields, and where they still tread them. and why no one can behold them as they tread. 4. Madness inflicted those of the first men who formed the cult, around idols brought in dim areas from dark stars, and that cult would never die. This secret cult has lived and will live for eons of illimitable time in the dark recesses of the earth's corners, from the mist-cloaked mountains of the east to the churning waters of the Pacific in the west. So extraordinary and hideous are the rites connected with the cult that it is boundlessly more diabolic than even the blackest of the African voodoo tribes. Of its origin, apart from erratic and unbelievable tales extorted from unreliable sources, absolutely nothing has been discovered by the unawoken. The ritual aura besotted by dark matter, and blood breathes life recycled from the carbon of stardust issued forth from the unstable gas giants of old. It is the harbingers of the truth that will coalesce and unify the minds led astray, and secret priests will take great Cthulhu from his tomb to revive his subjects and begin his reign of earth. A time will come when the countless grottos of fragmented cultists will abandon their hiato secrecy and unify together as a massive cosmic note to usher forth a new age of spectral light and Veridian blasphemy. 5. Oaths of cardinal allegiance are taken by he or she loyal to the cult, who commits his or her mind and life to the teachings of the old ones. With the sentience granted by such black teachings, unnameable knowledge flows abundant, and so the cultist embraces the insignificance of his or her life in the teeth of the stupefying cosmos. Life is known to be microscopic and trivial, fetal and furtive in the yawning expanse of unfathomable space, and so by necessity is rare and precious to each and every organism in its own eyes. Thus the cultist embraces the tenebrous infinite black of the Stygian abyss of death. Thus the cultist embraces the madness bestowed by the old one's truth. And so that which happens within a cultist's mind differs strangely and powerfully with that which happens within the minds of the common mortal man. For searches after truth and light will always haunt strange and faraway places, and Chub Niggurath, the black goat of the woods with 1,000 young, summoned forth with unspeakable rites and rituals, will show the path to the light to those brave enough to follow it. 6. Now we think in double, with our minds in dissonance, as the world is in dissonance with itself. Tranquil sleep is rare, an option for those that conceive of the horrors that lurk ceaselessly behind reality's veils. Tranquil sleep is rare, an option for those that conceive of the horrors that lurk ceaselessly behind reality's veil. Unhallowed blasphemies from dark silhouettes which pull the strings, known and favoured by powerful entities ready and eager to loose them upon the world whenever another disaster shall heave their monstrous grim city again to the sun and air. The presented sanity of this era is the acceptance of hypocrisy, of corruption, of darkness and of despair entirely divorced from the natural darkness of the cosmos. Those that are called know the secrets of the universe. The unhallowed miasma of Riley has granted their wish, and insanity befalls the minds of the blessed. It is a man-made darkness that now threatens this world. It is only the truth that bestows light to the icy black of such mortal horror, and it is the madness of the truth whose utter strangeness and air of genuinely abysmal antiquity hints so potentially at unopened and archaic vistas. 7. Most ancient and strong of mankind's emotions is that of fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is that of the unknown. We are born of stardust. We are shadows in the fleeting glimpse of the dying of the light. We will return to the void. Those who have perished in the void now all around us, etched in cosmos, the cultist recognizes one universal truth. That is not dead which can eternal lie, and through strange eons even death may die. 8. Earth, a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity. Perhaps it was not meant that we should voyage far. The sciences, each straining in its own direction, have hitherto harmed us little. But some day the piecing together of dissociated knowledge may open up such terrifying vistas of reality, and our frightful position therein, that we shall either go mad from the revelation or flee from the deadly light into the peace and safety of a new dark age. We are either completely alone or we are not, and each is equally terrifying. The nisus for such wisdom is the destiny burdened us by the old ones, the terrifying knowledge of Azathoth, the blind idiot God's creation is within our apprehension, for it is within the grasping reach of every king and peasant. The dark ocean is more ancient than the mountains and the animals we tenant, and freighted with the memories and the dreams of time. Blue, green, grey, white, or black, smooth, ruffled, or mountainous, that ocean is not silent. Deep space is elderly, aged more than solar flares which gift us warmth or the stars that grace our skies. Black, blue, bright, or dim, that void is not silent. From the war of nature and of feminine death, that which is most exalted, which we are capable of conceiving is, namely, the production of higher beings. There is grandeur in this worldview, with its several powers having been originally breathed into new forms or into one. Whilst this planet has gone cycling on according to the fixed laws of the cosmos, from so simple a beginning, endless forms most beautiful and most wonderful have been, and are being, evolved.